News 19 is on your side. You're watching WLTX Plus.
That's right, everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you all so much for joining us here on WLTX Plus. I'm Christy Calcagno. Let's go ahead and start with our top story this afternoon. Big story from overnight as protests erupted in downtown Raleigh as demonstrators carried American flags and signs reading "No fear, no hate," and "No ICE in our state." Crowds are now pushing back against the ongoing federal immigration operations. That's happening across North Carolina, and they're calling for transparency and due process.
And I think the more we get out in the streets and let people know that we are the majority, we don't want this. So ICE, go home and do your work legally, not illegally.
And demonstrations are expected to continue as federal agents maintain an active presence in both Raleigh and Charlotte. Back here closer to home now. Again, if you like that cold weather, I really hate to break it to you, Brianna, it's warm. All right, Brianna, we'll get back to you in just a couple of seconds. Let's go ahead and talk right now about some developing news here closer at home, and then we'll get back to weather. So developments in a deadly shooting over on Nearview Avenue. The Richland County Sheriff's Department does say that a second arrest has been made, all in last week's homicide. Now, early this morning, deputies arrested 21-year-old Simon Helton Hill at a family member's home in Sumter County. Investigators say that he was the driver of the suspected vehicle during the murder back on November 11th. Helton Hill has been booked into the Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center, and he's right now facing charges of murder and criminal conspiracy, and will continue to follow the very latest there. And we'll continue to follow this over in Congress as we are continuing to follow this over in Washington, D.C. We want to bring you right now a live look at the White House as a bill to release the full Epstein files is expected to land on the president's desk today. This all following Congress's fast-tracking its approval. CBS News correspondent Natalie Brand has that fast-tracking approval, and she has the very latest from the White House.
But it's bittersweet, because of, I think, what it took for us to get to this moment.
Epstein survivor Annie Farmer told CBS Morning she's hopeful for transparency, one day after she and other victims gathered on Capitol Hill to celebrate legislation that will compel the Department of Justice to release all unclassified Epstein documents within 30 days.
I think that there's a lot of information in there about not only people
that we haven't heard before, that we
have not heard before, in terms of names of people that not only participated in these crimes, but the people that enabled the crimes.
The bill moved faster than expected, passing the House with all but one member voting in favor. Then almost immediately, the Senate agreed to the bill with unanimous consent.
The Senate has now passed the Epstein bill.
President Trump said this week he would sign the bill into law, but continues to accuse Democrats of trying to deflect.
And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax.
The president also ordered a new investigation into Epstein's alleged ties with prominent Democrats, which has some lawmakers concerned the DOJ could use the probe to delay the release of files.
The FBI director, the DOJ, Pam Bondi, they would be criminally liable. This is why we climbed the steep hill.
Already, tens of thousands of documents have been released following subpoenas by the House Oversight Committee. In one email, Epstein claimed Trump knew about the girls, which the president has repeatedly denied. The documents also reveal direct correspondences between Epstein and former Treasury Secretary Larry Summers, who announced this week he's stepping back from public activities. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Summers announced today that he is going to be stepping down from OpenAI's board of directors. All right, let's go ahead and send things back over to meteorologist Brianna Mowry. Brianna, I'm loving these temperatures.
Around 60 degrees, so it's definitely warming up out there. It's warmer than it has been to start the week, and we're going to continue to see these warmer temperatures. ahead at what we're expecting for the next several hours, we're going to see those temperatures continuing to warm up, maybe even into the low 80s this afternoon. Plenty of sunshine, a little bit of cloud cover though, but we are still staying dry. 79 degrees for that high today, much warmer this afternoon. Winds staying pretty light, but looking ahead at tonight, we are going to see that low of 54 degrees, so we will stay a little warmer overnight and partly cloudy. I'll have that full forecast coming up with details about the rest of the week ahead in a few minutes. Christy.
All right, Brianna, thank you so much. Turning our attention over now to Orangeburg County, where the Department of Public Safety is on the scene at the intersection of Magnolia and Russell Street. This after a crash between a train and a car, and it all happened this morning. Now, we do have a crew there right now who says that a tow truck removed the car in the last hour. We have reached out to the Department of Public Safety to learn what led up to this crash and whether anyone was hurt. As always, this is a developing story. Depend on us as we keep you informed. All right, everyone, we're taking a live look at the White House, and we have been talking about the Epstein files. You actually just saw a package about it, but let's go ahead and break it down again. So the full Epstein files is expected to land on the president's desk today following Congress's fast-tracking its approval. Again, let's head back over to Natalie Brand. Well, that was Natalie Brand just a couple of minutes ago. Again, you can see that full story, and we just saw it just a little bit ago over on the top of the 12:30 newscast. But don't worry, you can see it on WLTX.com. Let's go ahead and take a look now at the top stories from around our southeast. We're going to start over in Georgia.
Overnight, we captured the aftermath of an explosion that leveled a vacant building at the Northside Plaza Apartments. The explosion blew the door off one unit, sending it several feet in the air. Andrea Moore lives in the complex and felt the impact from her unit.
I put the kids to sleep around 8:30, 9, and we just heard a boom and the windows blitzed.
She scrambled to get her kids out of the apartment.
My kids were asleep, so it was hard to function because I was screaming, "Wake up, wake up."
The Atlanta Fire Department showed up after getting dozens of calls.
We quickly discovered a 3-story apartment building that was vacant under renovation.
Neighbors said they reported smelling the odor of gas Tuesday morning.
We called the police and the fire people and told them that we smelled gas. They came out, they checked, they told us that it was okay to go back in.
The impact damaged several other buildings in the complex. The Red Cross is helping at least 40 people with a place to stay.
And now we're going to talk over to the coast of Florida as the U.S. Coast Guard says that it just pulled off one of its biggest drug offloads in years. More than 49,000 pounds of cocaine worth more than $362 million was brought in from multiple sections at sea. Crews say that it was a massive coordinated effort involving several agencies and new intelligence tools.
It's an honor and a privilege to be able to be here and stand here on Cutterstone with the incredible Coast Guard men and women who actually made this historic mission possible. This is what happens, the success that we are seeing here today is what happens when we have a commander-in-chief who empowers leaders. Just want to say thank you first and foremost to the young men and women who are doing this incredible work.
Coast Guard leaders say that those intelligence partnerships and newer fusion cell technology help track traffickers and make this offload possible. And staying in Florida, where there's a shocking new twist in the mysterious death of a Florida teenager aboard a cruise ship earlier this month. Anna Kepner was traveling with her family in the Caribbean when the 18-year-old's body was found.
CBS News has learned that criminal charges may soon be filed against the step-sibling of Central Florida high school senior Anna Kepner, according to an emergency court filing in an unrelated family matter. The 18-year-old was found dead aboard the Carnival cruise ship Horizon the morning of November 7th. Few details have been released, but law enforcement sources tell CBS News that a housekeeper discovered Kepner's body under the bed in her private room. Kepner was on a family vacation with her father, stepmother, and 3 step-siblings. According to the Daily Mail, Kepner told her family she was not feeling well and went back to her room. When she didn't show up for breakfast the next morning, a frantic search began.
Certainly, it just points a finger at some level of foul play.
Michael Winkleman is an expert in maritime law.
Is there an instance where there's a civil case against the ship here?
there's ship security all over that vessel. They have an obligation to keep their passengers reasonably safe.
CBS News has also learned investigators are reviewing the ship's surveillance video, Kepner's cell phone data, and the Access card reader to enter her room. In a statement, Carnival says it's focused on supporting the family and is cooperating with the FBI.
People think, oh, that'll never happen to me.
Jamie Barnett's daughter, Ashley, died on a Carnival cruise in 2005. She is now an advocate for victims.
These are big ships now. It's like a small city. Even on a cruise ship, you can't let your guard down.
A memorial service for Kepner will be held tomorrow. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
Heartbreaking story over there. All right, everyone, this holiday season, support matters more than ever. We're going to take and we're going to be talking with advocates about how you can help your community. That's next.
Well, as families come together for the holidays, breast cancer survivors often navigate this season a little differently, physically, emotionally, and even socially. So for today's Buddy Call, we are focusing on what loved ones should know to help make gatherings more comfortable and supportive. And joining us now is Pamela Prelo, a medical social worker with Lexington Health, and she works closely with survivors and their families. And she's here to share practical ways we can show care, understanding, and compassion at the Thanksgiving table and beyond. Thank you so much for joining us, Pamela.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. All right. So my first question this morning, what are some of the biggest challenges breast cancer survivors face during holiday gatherings, and how can families work to create a more comfortable environment?
Yeah. I would have to say that with survivors and the families, you have to give them grace. So the main thing is that they're navigating a new normal. And so with that new normal, things have changed. So, for instance, their taste buds may have changed. So your family member may love your sweet potato pie or the dressing that you used to make, but because of the seasonings, the chemotherapy may have changed their taste buds. And so in that case, don't push them to try certain things. Let them do it, and also have bland options.
Yeah,
that would be a good option as well.
Absolutely. So that's less work typically for the chefs because you don't got to put as much seasoning and stuff on it.
Yes.
So my next question is for loved ones who want to be supportive during this time, but aren't really sure what to say or how to interact. What is some guidance that you have when it comes to these social gatherings with survivors?
Mm-hmm. I would say that for that is ask them. It's just a simple matter of just asking them, can I help you? What do you need me to do? Don't tell them, say, hey, tell me if you need something. No, ask them a specific question. What can I do? Do you need a blanket? Do you need comfortable seating? All of that, because things have changed with their bodies and things like that. So just making sure that they're comfortable. And also given the space where if they want to actually leave early or they want to not, come a little bit later, just being flexible with your family member.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah, and I think we overcomplicate it. We definitely overcomplicate it, but it's as simple as let's have some bland options.
Yes.
Let's directly ask them what they need. So I love that you said that. Okay, so I know that this time can also maybe be overwhelming for survivors and their family members who are navigating just a new season on top of it being the holiday season. Are there any resources available, or who can they talk to as they're going through this time?
So definitely, again, talk to your family member, whoever is going through it, whether they're a survivor or they're over it, they're in remission, or they're currently going through it. Ask them what they want. But also, there are therapists out there. If you are a family member or a caregiver that's helping someone, there's a lot of resources. Just reach out to them. Of course, we're here at Lexington Health. You can always reach out to us. We have 2 social workers on our team, myself and another, and so they can definitely reach out to us. But there's resources out there that you can find and just ask somebody.
Absolutely. All you got to do is ask. And my final question, based on your over a decade of experience as a social worker, what's the biggest thing that you would want families or survivors to take away as they're navigating the holiday season?
The biggest takeaway, again, is that term I used in the beginning. They're navigating a new normal. So that family member may not be the one that you knew a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, because they're dealing with anxiety. Even if they are a survivor and they're over it, every time they go in for a scan, test results, a follow-up, anything, they're dealing with that anxiety. So you have no idea what is going on in their mind.
Yeah.
So just ask them and then give them space, because not everybody wants to talk about their journey. So if they don't want to talk about it, just keep it about the family, about the holidays, all of that, because not everybody wants to talk about cancer all the time.
Thank you so much, Pamela. These are great, practical, simple steps that we can take to make sure that the survivors in our lives feel loved and supported and encouraged. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this interview on our website, WLTX.com. We know it's going to be a great resource for families who have survivors, or for survivors who want to send it to their families. And again, my friends, as we like to wrap up with Buddy Call, make sure to do your self-breast exam, and of course, remind your buddy to do the same.
Across the Midlands, plenty of sunshine this afternoon. Not a whole lot of cloud cover, but we are continuing to stay dry today. Temperatures are also warming up. We have an area of high pressure to our south, frontal boundary to our north, winds out of the south, and that's going to keep bringing us those clear skies and warmer temperatures for the next several days. Here we're also seeing plenty of sunshine on satellite radar. Really not a whole lot of cloud cover, maybe a passing cloud or two in Sumter or Bishopville, but other than that, we are staying dry and sunny out there this afternoon. Temperatures are already in the mid to upper 70s, so they're warming up quickly out there today. 77 in Columbia, 79 in Sumter, 78 in Orangeburg. But looking out there at today's forecast, we are going to continue to climb a little bit higher into the upper 70s. Some areas could see the low 80s this afternoon. And then as we head into 5 o'clock, we should begin to see things cooling down, especially after sunset. We will be in the 60s by 9 o'clock and in the 50s for that low tonight. So today's high again, a couple spots could see 80 degrees today, 79 for that high in Columbia though. So we're almost there now. Definitely seeing a much warmer afternoon today. Partly cloudy skies tonight. Those lows are going to stay a little warmer as well, in the 50s for everyone in the Midlands. This is warmer than our typical low temperatures for this time of year, which are normally in the low 40s. Rain chances for the next 7 days. We are going to stay dry for the rest of the work week. We do have a small chance of rain on Saturday, but other than that, we are staying dry for the next 7 days. Really not a whole lot of rainfall expected, so a little bit of cloud cover Thursday, even Friday, but late Friday night, overnight, really into Saturday morning, we could see a little bit of rain, and that could continue again into the evening on Saturday. But right now that chance is pretty low, only around a 30% chance we will dry out again as we start next week. The warmer than normal temperatures are expected to continue into the end of November and to start December, so we are going to continue to see these warmer afternoons throughout the next couple of weeks. For the next 7 days, temperatures are going to be slightly cooler by Thursday, but only by a few degrees. We jump right back to 80 degrees on Friday, getting close to that record high of 81. We could tie that on Friday. Saturday, a few showers. That chance still pretty low, only around 30%. Looking ahead at the rest of next week, we are going to continue to see decreasing clouds on Monday, so a little more sunshine as we end the weekend and start next week, but we could see more of that cloud cover moving back in by Tuesday. Temperatures will still be in the 70s to start next week, but they could be slightly cooler in the low 70s. Christy.
All righty, Brianna, thank you so much. Well, with Thanksgiving coming up, it's a good reminder to stay safe if you're planning to fry your turkey this year. Fire officials are warning the biggest danger comes from hot oil. It can spill, overheat, and spark a fast-moving fire. So experts are recommending using an oil-less fryer if you can. It dramatically reduces the risk, but if you are using oil, here are just a few safety musts. You want to always fry your turkey outside and away from your home or your deck. You also want to thaw and dry the turkey completely. Keep kids and pets far away. And whether you are frying or roasting, make sure that you test those smoke alarms. And Thanksgiving is the #1 day for home cooking fires, more than triple the daily average. Christmas Day and Christmas Eve are not far behind. And also not far behind, holiday shopping. I mean, at this point, it's in full swing. And this year, more people are turning to artificial intelligence for a little extra help, from creating gift lists to keeping spending in check. AI tools are quickly becoming a go-to resource for shoppers. Take a look at how it's changing the way people plan for the holidays.
AI is officially like Santa's new helper. I used to go through like a Sears catalog, circle what you want and hand that into your parents. And now people are going through TikTok Shop or turning on to ChatGPT.
She says the social media algorithm does more than suggest ideas.
I think they definitely influence people's purchase, but I think they also add temptation. So when you're scrolling through Instagram and you see, your favorite influencer just got this Dyson vacuum, for instance, now you're putting a $500 thing on your Christmas list when you probably would have just been putting another brand or something a little bit smaller.
But think twice before you buy that item straight off your social media feed.
And I think it can definitely serve as a guide. But I would say rather than purchasing through TikTok Shop, maybe search online some similar keywords. If you look online, you might actually see a sale or a deal, or maybe something that you like a little bit better. So maybe use the social media as inspiration and then do the shopping yourself.
She shared this example of using ChatGPT to generate your gift list.
Let's say I've got a 4-year-old niece. I don't exactly know what a 4-year-old wants for Christmas this year. So you can put something in like, what does a 4-year-old who lives in Tennessee and is interested in ballet and dance, what does she like for Christmas? And it can put out a couple more ideas than maybe I had right off the bat.
AI is still learning, so you need to provide it with some information and double check its work.
Let's say you're looking to keep something under $50 if you're doing, a little bit for every person in the family and you want to keep everyone's gift under $50. You're going to need to make sure you put that in, or else AI could give you a gift that's $300 just because it's rolling through its database.
The same goes for budgeting. Don't include any private information like your salary or bank number. But you can tell ChatGPT how much you're willing to spend and how many people you're shopping for. Then it can create a guide to keep your spending on track.
Definitely some good tips there. All right, everyone, coming up later on Friends at 5, the Sumter Planning Commission is discussing a possible new subdivision. We're going to tell you where that is. That's all coming up tonight. Well, if you've been thinking about getting those letters to Santa in the mail, now's the time. Operation Santa gives children and families the opportunity to write letters to Santa. People can then adopt a letter from a child to make sure those holiday wishes are fulfilled. Now, this year, you can choose to adopt a family as a team to ensure requests from the same household are met. For more information, you can head on over to our website to learn more. That's at WLTX.com. What a great opportunity. I love when we do this every single year to make sure that you are helping a family in need, also right here in our community.
Yes, it's definitely helpful in our community, and helping out here at home is the best way. Looking at 7-day forecast, upper 70s today, lower, a little lower for Thursday, but still going to be in the 80s as we wrap up the week and start the weekend. Very warm for November. And looking at next week, still in the 70s, but going to be staying pretty dry over the next 7 days.
Boy, it's going to be warm out there. All right, get ready for it. All right, everyone, thank you all so much for joining us here on WLTX Plus. We'll be back here at 6:30. We'll see you then.